Did you hear the story about the Pallets of Cash?
Did you hear this story? Did you hear the story about the Pallets of Cash? It just emblemizes everything about the right wing. Let them get into control, and it's Keystone Cops time! It was Keystone Cops time. In case you hadn't heard this, one of the first things the U.S. did, the Republican regime did, after we had invaded Iraq, they shipped billions of dollars in cash to Iraq and lost it.
This is not a joke. After the United States invaded Iraq, the Republican regime sent billions of dollars in cash to Iraq and lost it.
Small wonder the tide is turning. Okay, people are getting killed. I know people are getting killed. I'm just taking a break here and looking at the Keystone Cops side of the story. Because there is this Keystone Cops. Let the right get into control and let the fun begin. Well, anyway, it's a true story that the U.S. shipped, billions of dollars cash. They put it into bricks. You gotta love the Republicans. They put the cash into bricks and put the bricks onto pallets. Republicans apparently don't know their screw-ups. Can you believe this? Yeah, and one of the things these people who don't know their screw-ups did was to ship pallets of money, pallets of U.S. currency, taxpayer money. Taxpayer money was shipped by the billions on several occasions to Iraq and was then lost. They wanted to run the country forever, and their idea of a brilliant move was to ship pallets of cash, taxpayer cash, to Iraq. For some reason, who knows what they were going to do. Let your imagination run wild. Who knows what Republicans even think they're doing? They don't know their screw-ups, do they?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Republicans Don't Know Their Screw-Ups, do they?
They don't know their screw-ups. And their idea of a brilliant move was to ship billions of dollars, pallets of money. It's the Republican pallets of money story, which you must always remember the next time a Republican says, "You need us to run the country."
You need us to run the country. By the way, we're shipping another $1 billion, several $1 billion in cash to Iraq and losing it.
I was looking at the light side of that little kind of like dinky little Republican hegemony thing. There was this dinky little 6-year Republican hegemony thing. And it didn't go well. As I would like to say, they piddled away the Clinton surplus. Don't forget, George Bush Sr. created the biggest debt in U.S. history. That was the first Bush. Left the biggest deficit in history. Pretty much the biggest deficit the world had ever seen. The deficit, if you may recall, created by Ronald Death Squad Reagan. Ronald Death Squad Reagan is the one who created this biggest deficit in the universe. George Bush I went on to bloat that deficit in Republican style. In that kind of rate, Republicans bloat the deficit style.
Republicans bloat the deficit, you fools! Republicans bloat the deficit!
Republicans bloat the okay. Republicans bloat the deficit, and George Bush Sr. left Bill Clinton with the biggest deficit ever. But did Bill Clinton complain? No. Did Bill Clinton blame Bush 1 for this mega deficit? For this deficit bigger than the Crab Nebula? For this life-sapping deficit that always happens when Republicans are in control? Oh no!
A life-sapping deficit which occurs whenever Republicans are in control. Don't forget there's always a life-sapping deficit whenever those disgusting, fat, pedophiliac Republicans are in control.
Okay, well, there is always a huge deficit. The point being that in his 8 years in office, the much maligned Bill Clinton turned the biggest deficit in U.S. history into the biggest surplus. Okay, for those of you having trouble distinguishing between the two major parties, there are plenty of guys here on Pact. There are plenty of
Angry white guys with IQs in the mid-80s.
you know, the guys on Pact, the angry white guys with IQs in the mid-80s, who apparently think the parties are the same. Oh, no. You see, as an illustration of the difference, the country endures life-sapping deficits. The country endures
Life-sapping deficits, disgusting worm-like, parasitic, life-sapping deficits. Do you hear me? Life-sapping deficits.
And Bill Clinton turned that life-sapping deficit into the biggest surplus in U.S. history. Well done, Bill! Okay, just as an illustration, you see, to the angry white guys with IQs in the mid-80s who can't see a difference between the parties. Hi, you are watching The Tide Has Turned.